Scene script. Have you ever questioned the power of your perspective? Imagine a kaleidoscope. As you peer in, you see a myriad of colors and shapes, constantly shifting and changing with every subtle turn. Our lives are much like this kaleidoscope. The lens through which we view our world is our perspective, and it impacts how we interpret and react to the world around us. Our perspectives are powerful. They shape our beliefs, form our habits, and ultimately determine the trajectory of our lives. They are the architects of our reality, for we perceive not what is, but what we believe to be. Consider this. There was a person who, since childhood, was terrified of dogs. An unfortunate encounter with an aggressive dog when they were just a toddler had left them with a deep-rooted fear. Dogs, to them, were synonymous with danger and unpredictability. This fear, born out of a singular traumatic event, dictated their perspective towards all dogs for a large part of their life. But what if we told you that this person, who once trembled at the sight of dogs, is now the proud parent of a loving pet dog? What changed? Their perspective. Through therapy and gradual exposure to dogs in a controlled environment, they began to question the fear that had been ingrained in them. They started seeing dogs not as a threat, but as creatures capable of love and companionship. They began to understand that their fear was not of dogs, but of a past experience. Their perspective shifted, and so did their beliefs. The fear that was once a part of their identity gradually faded away, replaced by a newfound love and respect for dogs. This profound change was not an overnight miracle. It was a journey, a slow and steady transformation that began with a single step: questioning their perspective. Our perspectives, you see, are not rigid, unchangeable constructs. They are fluid, adaptable, and most importantly, within our control. We have the power to question, to change, and to shape our perspectives. Indeed, a shift in perspective can rewrite our beliefs and habits. What if you could see your life through a different lens? Let's delve into the story of Jane, a woman who found herself stuck in a job she felt was a dead end. She was a customer service representative for a large corporation, spending her days answering calls and solving problems. She felt trapped, as if she was running on a hamster wheel with no way out. But then, Jane decided to change her perspective. She started to view her job not as a trap, but as a stepping stone. She saw it as an opportunity to learn new skills and gain valuable experience. She realized that every phone call was a chance to improve her communication and problem-solving skills. Each day was an opportunity to learn more about the business world and how corporations operate. Rather than dreading each workday, Jane began to look forward to it. She saw each challenge as a chance to grow and each success as a step forward. She started to take on more responsibilities, volunteering for projects and taking the initiative to suggest improvements. Her change in perspective was noticed by her superiors. They saw a woman who was dedicated and enthusiastic, someone who was always willing to go the extra mile. Jane's performance improved significantly, and she was soon promoted to a managerial position. But Jane didn't stop there. She continued to view her job through this new lens of perception. She saw her promotion not as an end goal, but as another stepping stone. She started to take on even more responsibilities and continued to learn and grow. Eventually, she was able to make a career shift, moving into a role she had always dreamed of. Jane's story is a powerful example of how a simple shift in perspective can change your life. She was able to turn a job she once saw as a dead end into a stepping stone towards her dreams. A fresh perspective can indeed open new doors. Can a change in perspective transform your life? Let's dive into a story that might answer this question. Imagine a person, let's call them Alex. Alex was always conscious about their body image. They were constantly comparing themselves to models on magazine covers, actors on the big screen, and influencers on social media. They felt the pressure of societal beauty standards weighing them down, causing them to feel inadequate and unhappy with their appearance. This negative self-perception began to affect their day-to-day life, impacting their mental health and overall well-being. But then, something shifted. Alex started to question the societal standards that they had been adhering to. They began to realize that these standards were unrealistic and often unhealthy. Instead of focusing on the external, Alex decided to shift their perspective towards their personal health and well-being. They started to appreciate their body for what it could do, not just how it looked. Alex started eating healthier, not to lose weight, but to nourish their body. They began to exercise, not to fit into a certain size, but to feel stronger and more energetic. This change in perspective led to a transformation in their life. It was no longer about conforming to societal beauty standards, but about embracing their uniqueness and prioritizing their health. And guess what? As Alex's perspective changed, so did their self-esteem. They started to feel more confident, more comfortable in their own skin. They began to love themselves, not despite their imperfections, but because of them. So, what can we learn from Alex's story? It's simple. Changing our perspective can indeed transform our lives. It can help us break away from societal pressures and focus on what truly matters: our health, our happiness, our well-being. It can lead us to a healthier lifestyle, improve self-esteem, and ultimately, a happier life. A positive shift in perspective can indeed lead to a happier, healthier life. So why not take a leaf out of Alex's book and start looking at things from a healthier perspective? You might be surprised by just how much your life can change. How do our beliefs shape our habits? Let's delve into that question, shall we? Our beliefs, you see, are deeply rooted in our perspectives. They are the fertile soil from which our habits grow, the foundation upon which our actions are built. And sometimes these beliefs can hold us back, just like they did for a person we'll call Alex. Alex had always struggled with weight. He believed he was destined to be overweight because of his genetics. This belief, which was firmly rooted in his perspective of himself, shaped his habits. He'd indulge in unhealthy foods, skip the gym, and avoid looking at nutrition labels. After all, if his genetics were against him, what was the point? But then, something changed. Alex started to question his belief. He began to wonder if it was really his genetics that were holding him back, or if it was, in fact, his own habits. So he decided to change his perspective. He started educating himself about nutrition and exercise. He learned that while genetics can influence weight, they don't determine it. He began to believe that he could lose weight, that he could change his destiny. And this belief, this new perspective, began to shape his habits. Instead of reaching for junk food, he'd opt for healthier alternatives. Instead of skipping the gym, he'd make it a point to work out. He started reading nutrition labels, making conscious decisions about what he was putting into his body. Slowly but surely, the pounds started to come off. So what happened? Alex's beliefs changed. He stopped seeing himself as a victim of his genetics and started seeing himself as the master of his habits. And this belief, this perspective, changed his life. Now imagine what could happen if we all started to question our limiting beliefs. If we all started to believe that we have the power to shape our habits, to change our lives. It's clear that altering our beliefs can indeed change our habits. And with that, we realize that the power of belief is not just about thinking positively, it's about empowering ourselves to take control of our actions and, ultimately, our destinies. So what's the big picture in all of this? Let's take a moment to step back and look at the broader canvas we've been painting. We've journeyed through the power of perspective, the lens through which we perceive our world. We've explored how this perspective, this unique viewpoint we each hold, shapes our beliefs and habits. It's as if our perspective is the artist, our beliefs the paint, and our habits the brushstrokes that bring our life's masterpiece to life. Our perspective is more than just a viewpoint. It's the foundation upon which we build our beliefs. It's the soil from which our habits grow. Our perspective is the stage director, setting the scene, and our beliefs and habits are the actors playing out the drama of our lives. But here's the beauty of it all. Our perspective is not set in stone. It's fluid, ever-changing, as dynamic as the world around us. And when we consciously shift our perspective, we can reshape our beliefs, reform our habits, and ultimately, rewrite our life script. We've seen how a change in perspective can lead to a transformation, a metamorphosis of the mind, heart, and soul. It's like opening a new window to let in fresh air, a new light that illuminates corners of our world previously hidden in shadow. It's a powerful tool, a catalyst for change, a key to unlock doors we never knew existed. And so, the big picture is this. Our perspective is not just a passive observer of our lives, it's an active participant, a co-creator of our reality. Our beliefs, our habits, they're not just byproducts of our lives. They're the building blocks, the bricks and mortar of the life we lead. In this grand tapestry of existence, each thread we weave is colored by our perspective, shaped by our beliefs, and patterned by our habits. And when we choose to weave with awareness, with intention, we can create a masterpiece of our own design. Remember, your perspective is your power. Use it wisely.